So auto insurance, I think most of us are suffering from higher premiums on insurance, both on auto as well as our home. Even business insurances are impacted in many ways. And just today, somebody sent me a question that, hey, Deepa, can you suggest some of the ways to get my auto insurance rates lowered? Are there any strategies? Are there things that we can do that can help us lower our insurance? So I thought that was a good topic because it's impacting everyone. So I thought maybe I can share some tips, some of the suggestions that can help you get those auto insurance rates decrease. So first of all, insurance in general as an industry is facing its worst crisis, I think, in the last 30 years. They are they're really struggling, just like us. Um, in our financial calls that we do every 2 weeks, where we kind of take a look at the current trends that are happening in the financial market. Just last week, I was talking about how insurance is such a big part of inflation right now. I mean, auto insurance rates have increased significantly. I mean, with some insurance are charging 30, 40, even 50% in certain states. So big trouble. 31% of US auto insurance customers are saying that they are feeling a rate increase in the past year. 31%. And reality, it's probably more like 100%. These are the people who are feeling it. So what happens is when you sign up for insurance, you just continue to pay the bill year after year after year, and you don't really look at the bill. For example, I was looking at my home insurance in California, and that bill used to be like, I think, $1,100, and now it's to $2,000. So almost double. And similarly for my personal residence and my other insurance, almost every single one of them has increased. But you probably felt the pain most in certain states. For example, California and Florida. These were the two markets that were hit really, really bad. Now, the main factor driving up the car insurance rates is because of, obviously, accidents. More people on the road. COVID is over with. People are back to work, and once again, we're back to the way we were, right? And this time around, the cost of litigation is even higher. So when you do something, like let's say you hit somebody else or somebody files a claim against you, now the insurance company has to go litigate, and the cost of litigation has gone up. Medical cost has gone up, so you probably felt that in your health cost premiums as well. Cost of repairing the cars has gone up. Um, just buying a new car has gone up. Inflation, obviously, supply chain problems, new technologies. For example, I was talking to one gentleman the other day, and he says, well, I have a Tesla, and my Tesla was totaled. And when insurance company came back and they said, well, okay, we will reimburse you for the car, but we're not going to reimburse you for the technology. So that's kind of, but that's a big loss, right? This technology in Tesla could be 8, 10, 15, $20,000. I don't own a Tesla, so I can't comment on that, but I know many of you guys probably do own a Tesla, and you can tell how much those costs are. So all those problems are there with the insurance industry. Now, let me talk a little bit about from the insurance point of view. I have the data for 2022, but I don't have a data yet for 2023. Hopefully that will come out in a couple more months. And as you guys know, when I say something, I really believe in data. If I can present you with some factual information, I think you will have a better understanding of stuff. So the car insurers have lost an average of 12 cents for every dollar of premium written in 2022. You hear me out, right? 12 cents for every dollar. They're not making money. So in spite of increasing all these rates. So that's a problem. So State Farm, the largest car insurer in the US, lost 28 cents for every dollar. That's back in 2022. Obviously, State Farm increased their prices, farmers increased the prices. Many of the major insurance companies had increased the prices to deal with this, right? Now, if you're an insurance company, you can't just wake up one day and say, look, I'm going to go increase the price. They have to get regulatory approvals. They have to say, how are they structuring these prices? There's a proper process they have to get through. They have to get approvals. So we're running into some friction there. So for example, some states are not giving those approvals. They don't want insurance companies to increase the rate. For example, I think recently, you guys know, last year, right, there were a lot of wildfires in California. And a lot of insurance companies are coming back and saying, "Look, we're not going to cover those because these things are going to make us bankrupt." And the states are saying that no, you got to cover that. So a whole bunch of friction having. Insurance companies want to survive. They want to obviously be profitable, and they're really having a hard time. One of the cases that comes to my mind, for example, was Allstate. In the state of Georgia, there was some law which was preventing them from increasing the premiums, and they were able to find some sort of loophole and was able to increase the prices by almost 40%. So insurance companies really trying to find anything they can do to um, to basically survive, just like us, right? So what are some of the challenges? Rates are going up, and not just they're going up, people are having hard time just keeping the insurance. I know many people who are reaching out to me and said, "Deepak, can you recommend me an insurance company? Because my insurance company just no longer want to insure me." They are making it very, very hard to get insurance. Some people have to take pictures of cars, left, right, up, down. They're tracking how do you drive. And if your driving is not good enough, then they increase the rates. I know a lot of people move to Tesla insurance, for example, and now they're frustrated because Tesla insurance is tracking everything, how they drive. You brake hard enough, you make a turn, and they're tracking all that. So all of those kind of things are creating problem. So many people are having trouble finding affordable auto insurance, but more importantly, many people are having problem just getting an insurance. So some of you guys who might be complaining, I want you to think about that for a second, right? Don't take your frustration to extreme, because if you lose the insurance from your whatever company you have it with, you might not be able to get it from another company. So just keep your cool. The insurance industry is going through a major overhaul right now. So insurance companies, like I said, they are facing higher costs due to the rising cost of repairs, litigation, inflation, all kind of thing. And then insurance companies are just simply closing down business, right? We all know what happened with Geico in California. One day they just say, "Look, we're going to shut down all our offices in California." Right? In some states, insurance companies are just leaving altogether. They say, "Look, we're just tired. We're done. If you don't allow us to increase the rates, we cannot afford to provide insurance. We're just going to leave the state altogether." So I think, like I said, California and Florida is the key one that's in trouble. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that you can do to help yourself. And I don't think they're going to solve all of your problems, but I can offer you some suggestions. So those of you guys who don't know, I'm also a licensed insurance agent, although I don't really do it for a living. My job is to do taxes, not insurance. But I like to be licensed because I want to keep up with all the trends, all the information related with the auto industry. So that's why I keep that license. All right. So number one, don't assume that any one company is the cheapest for car insurance. So oftentimes people just, think, "Oh, I'm not going to name any company, but it could be any company, company X." And they think, "Oh, that's the cheapest." So here's how it works. And try to understand that. So each company have a desire for a particular kind of customer. So let's say I start a new insurance company and I say, "Look, I want customers who just simply don't file a claim." That's it. I only want people who don't file claims. If they file claims, I don't want them. So what will happen with this company is they will offer you a really good rate, really, really good rate, probably one of the cheapest rates you can find in the industry. However, the moment you have your first claim, they will just no longer renew you. So be careful when you ask for a cheaper rate. Are you sure they're going to be able to renew? Ask your agent, get them in writing. If I have a claim, will you renew me? And I can tell you the answer already. Agent would not answer that question. They don't know. They can't promise you that. Okay. I'm telling you to keep that in mind. So if somebody says, "Oh, look, we have the cheapest rate," just be mindful that they might drop you the moment you have one claim. Another insurance company might look at it differently. They say, "Look, everybody make mistakes. I will forgive one claim, But if they have the second claim, I'm going to either increase their rates really high, or I'm just going to drop them. Either way, that's what they want you to. They don't want you anymore. They want you to go. Okay. I had a client, I think it was last year, or maybe year before last year. He reached out to me. He said, "Look, I have had 3 claims. What insurance company do you recommend?" I said, "None. Nobody wants you. You're going to have to go into what we call secondary market and look for some insurance who's willing to take a risk on someone like you. And obviously, they're going to charge you 2 or 3 times the premium that somebody else will pay." So be very careful in filing claims. That's my suggestion to you. And when you look at insurance companies and look at the premiums, link that with your risk profile, because that's what they are doing. I hope that makes sense to you. Credits. Your credit score plays an important role in your insurance pricing. So, for example, if your credit score is not good, work on improving it and then get a quote. Oftentimes, you will get a better quote. Having a good credit tells the insurance company that you are just really good at managing, whether it's your finance, whether it's your credit, or in this case, driving. So they want better managers. People who are better managers, they don't want to file random claims. They don't want to take on additional trouble. They like to keep their risk low. So credit plays an important point in your insurance. If you're planning on buying a new vehicle, okay, if that's what you're doing this year in 2024, before you buy that vehicle, get an insurance quote from few companies. Not just from where you're buying from, but few other companies. Get a quote and tell them what kind of history you have and what kind of credit score you have, so they give you the as accurate quote as possible. And compare that with some of the alternative cars you might be considering. It's important because when you're buying something, you should know what's the cost of ownership is. And if you don't know, you will end up spending more money than you thought you would. So just run those numbers before you go buy that car. If you own other things, such as you have a home, maybe you have multiple cars, try to bundle them together. Oftentimes, insurance companies will give you a better rate. But now be careful with that. What happens is sometimes one insurance company actually might only do auto, but they don't offer home, And if they don't offer home, what are they going to do? They're going to get home from somebody else. That means there are 2 hands in the pot now, 2 companies making money. That means in reality, you probably would have a better rate if you would have bought auto from one company and home from another company. But if there's someone who offer all policies, then they will give you a better rate altogether. So just watch out for that. Another thing to keep in mind is umbrella insurance. So umbrella insurance is often only offered if you have auto and home from the same company. It's usually very hard to get that insurance if you have them from 2 separate companies. So in addition to cost, you also want to keep the liability aspect of it in mind as well to see, that $100 discount or $200 discount, is that even worth it if you lose that extra liability protection? So keep that in mind. These days, there are some other new carriers who have come out and they say, look, we're going to give you usage-based insurance. And that might be in your benefit if you don't drive a whole lot. So look out for those companies, but again, they're only beneficial if you're not driving a whole lot. So just keep that in mind. Location, that also affects your insurance rate. So sometimes I will see people that they got insurance 5 years ago when they were living in one part of the country. And 5 years later, they're living somewhere else, but the insurance company still have the old address. That means your rates are based on that old address. So check out the address, make sure it's accurate, and your coverage it's reflecting that new address, because your rates will have something to do with that. Your driving records, your history, if you have any accidents, you cross the red lights, you cross over stop signs, all that kind of stuff, all plays, right? The more of those points you have on your driving record, obviously more expensive that insurance is going to be. If you have older people driving the car, and I know it's like, older means what, 50, 60, 70, what that number is. I don't know. let's just say 70 plus. Okay. If you have those kind of drivers, chances are your insurance rate will be higher. You might want to check out if they get insurance separate versus your separate, would that be a cheaper insurance? If you have a younger driver on your insurance policy, obviously that's going to increase your insurance rate as well. If you pay for insurance upfront for 12 months, you get two benefits. Number one, they don't renew your insurance after 6 months. That means you have it for an entire year. Now, not every insurance company will do that. Some insurance company will say, look, we're only going to provide you for 6 months. After 6 months, we're going to check again what kind of rates in the market, and we're going to reissue the insurance policy at that time. Some companies will say, okay, we'll do it for 12 months, and they will run the entire rate and give you a discount for paying upfront. So take a look. Sometimes people, not sometimes, actually many times I see, because we get to see the expense people are paying, right? And many times I see people paying month to month. I'm like, why? You're paying almost 10, 12% more in premium. So if you can afford to pay that upfront, that's 10, 12% discount. Okay, now talk about some of the good stuff. I think that some of you might be saying, well, I already know that, but these I wanted to say all that stuff so that way it's a fresh reminder to you. Sometimes we just forget some common sense. So here are some discounts that you might qualify for, but you might not get it if you are not specifically asking for those. So what are some of the common ones? Group discounts. Those are really, really huge. Do you belong to military, armed forces? Ask for that discount. Many people who are watching this are probably engineers. If you're an engineer, let the insurance company know that you're an engineer. Typically, they will give you a discount for that. Teachers. If you're a teacher, almost certain that all insurance companies provide some sort of discount. Okay. If you went to a particular college, oftentimes just because you graduated from that college, you may qualify for additional discount. Let them know. If you belong to some large group, check with them. Hey, is there a special discount? For example, maybe you work for a university, maybe you work for a big company. Ask the HR what kind of discounts are available for insurance. Oftentimes, there are special pricing just for those employees. So check for those. Security systems. What kind of security system do you have in your car and at your home? Check with the insurance company. Is there a different security system I can get that can get me an additional discount on it? Sometimes they do, especially for home insurance. But best to ask them rather than just go out there and put your own security system, because they may or may not accept it. So talk to their agent, find out what could work. For example, they might have, hey, look, if you have this anti-theft device, we're willing to give you X amount of discount. Now you might say, well, if I spend Y dollars on an anti-theft device and I get X discount from the insurance company, that's not really a discount. Maybe, but you at least got something extra, right? Now you have that anti-theft device that itself has a value. So, it's almost free because you're getting the discount from insurance company anyway. Vehicle recovery systems, those can offer you discounts. So check that. Maybe cameras, and run it by the insurance company and see if any of that can work for you. But I think some of the most common ones that I see that works very well is occupation, like engineers, for example, doctors, professors, teachers. I think those are the ones I see who qualify the most discount. So look for that. Another one that comes to my mind is memberships like AARP or AAA. Sometimes, just having a AAA can work. They're an insurance company themselves, but they also have memberships. But probably if you're getting from somebody else, AAA might not honor that. But they might not honor that because they will think, well, you're going to go to AAA anyway. But AARP is another big example of and they're cheap. You can sign up for like $10 a year or something like that. And you may qualify for 10-15% discount on your auto and home insurance just because you're part of that particular group. So those are the things that come to my mind that can help you reduce your insurance costs in 2024. But I think a real answer is being proactive, checking out different insurance companies. Now, before I let you go, I want to remind you about a few important things. Number one, oftentimes insurance companies have waiting period. So they might say, look, we only insure if your insurance is expiring in 3 days, 7 days, 2 weeks, a month. So don't let your insurance expire and go, oh, I want to get insurance tomorrow. Chances are they're gonna charge you more. So make sure you have at least 2 weeks to 30 days time period. So let's say if I want to get a quote, I'll say, hey, I want to start my insurance 1 month out. What would my quote look like? You will get a better price that way. So don't try to rush it through. Very, very important. And definitely don't cancel it until you have proper insurance. Okay. And figure out how much insurance do you even need, really. Sometimes I see people who are overinsured, and sometimes I see people who are underinsured. Do you even know how much insurance you should have? If you don't, you probably should run some numbers and figure that out. What's the right amount of insurance you should have. So those were all the tips I had about the insurance industry. So I think I was able to answer that question. If you still have a question, definitely reach out to me. You know how to do that. And hopefully you will make it to my next financial outlook call. We'll be having that not this week, but the next week on Friday. So I'll see you there. Thank you.